Welcome to Dig In. I'm flying solo today. Keith is out on the road, but today we are at Tagawa's Garden Center where we're talking about kids and getting them involved in the garden. We're going to show you what they can grow and what they can plant outside and getting them inspired. We're also going to be talking about carnivorous plants. Speaking of carnivorous plants, Chef Mick has an amazing recipe for ribs that you're not going to want to miss today on Dig In.
Join us on Dig In, presented by the Scott's Miracle Grow Company.
Ant farms was one of my favorite things as growing up as a kid to play with outside. Ladybugs was a close second. Now available at garden centers, kids can actually come in with their mom and dad and purchase thousands of ladybugs that they get to have crawl around all over them. They even have little houses so they can take the ladybugs home and watch them grow and develop. It's a great way to show enthusiasm for everything that's natural and native outside. Gets them away from the television and gets them into the garden. And while they're out in the garden, they have a chance to get outside and grow vegetables and fruits to see where they truly come from. By doing so, they tend to increase their willingness to go ahead and eat those fruits and vegetables, not having to fight with them quite so much anymore. Not only that, science has proven that by kids being active in the garden, their science scores are even increased. So the benefits of getting kids outside are overwhelming. So now we're going to go over and check out some seeds that'll be easy for your kids to grow at home. Oh, I just love fresh basil. Luann, how are you?
I need some of this. Hi, how are you, MJ? Welcome to Tagawa's.
So now exactly tell us what you do here at Tagawa's.
I am the Garden Outreach Ambassador here at Tagawa's, which means I do some classes in the store. We can go out and talk to clubs, garden groups, PTAs, whatever. We try to bring the garden center to wherever the interest is and make people bold so they want to try it.
As I was walking in here today, I actually saw a group of Girl Scouts leaving. And speaking of Girl Scouts, we're talking about kids in the garden.
Great.
What are some seeds that would be great and easy for kids to start?
There are so many, so we just have picked a few right now. We have sugar peas, and I know that you can see kids sometimes just pulling those right off the bush. They may not want a green pea out of a can, but this is different. And we're getting to where you can start some of those in the cooler weather. A little bit earlier in the season, what kid doesn't want to grow their own pumpkin? This is a nice warty one. A little bit late right now, but if you want a warty pumpkin like this, plant it next season. There's so many choices.
We call those Freddy Kruegers.
I like it. I
Call them
like
Freddy
it.
Kruegers. What else do you have?
Well, we're going to go with the basil that you have there. We have sweet basil.
It smells so
and
good.
I try to tell kids that when they go to the Italian restaurant, swish the bread around. This is one of the main things they're eating. So it comes up quickly, it's easy. A lot of the herbs are so easy to grow, and kids can really get into it.
My kids love this with fresh tomatoes.
Yum, so do big kids.
Mozzarella.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Cilantro, if you have any taste for Mexican food, is good. It's up in just a few days, and they can actually see the results of their work right now, right away. So it goes on and on the list. Cherry tomatoes, we still have some plants, and it is a great time to be.
Well, some of these varieties, you can grow them inside.
Absolutely.
Grow them inside, and a lot of the herbs inside on a windowsill.
Right.
Very easy to do. So we're not going to only inspire kids to be involved in gardening, but we're going to drag them into the perennial section and let them see how beautiful it is. So no longer will we have to drag them in, but they're going to want to run in themselves because they're going to be so excited. Luann has some great ideas to show that inspiration, so we're going to perennials now. So Luann, one of my favorite parts of the idea of you guys doing a tour and getting kids out here is touching and feeling. So often they're told don't touch, and in here you tell them to go exploring. What kind of things are they looking for?
Go exploring. Here in the perennials courtyard at Tagawa's, one thing we have them do is with a one-finger touch, they can't grab, but with a one-finger touch, find the plant that feels like a hedgehog. You can feel yourself. This coneflower in echinacea feels just like a hedgehog. They love that. Find the biggest flower. There it is.
Beautiful.
Hibiscus. We keep it really simple. We tell them what a perennial is, but this is more their style. Let me see what I can find. Find a plant that looks like a little red bird sitting in a tree.
You know, and this has been one of the hottest plant select plants that's come out in a while.
They're so much fun. And you can even see the little beak. The kids get it. And find a plant that is soft, like a lamb's ear. They feel, they can see. Who knew a plant could be that soft? So we have a great time. They have a great time.
And they're actually learning names of plants without even knowing it.
Yeah.
So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, these are all beautiful, and the best part about everything you guys do here is you're not just teaching them about plants, but you have
Right.
other classes and projects for them to do if they
Right.
come to Tagawas.
We have lots of classes. Some of them have a small fee. For example, this is a jar of beans from one of our dilly bean classes. So they come, they get the beans for a very small fee. They put in the garlic, the dill, the vinegar, and they take it home, tell them to give it a few weeks or a month to cure. They walk out with their own little jar of dilly beans. Great fun.
That's a great project, and it's very easy for them to do.
Absolutely.
And once again, we're getting kids to eat a vegetable that maybe they would not do
Right.
normally.
Right.
I appreciate the fact that
Our
you're with us
pleasure.
today. You are
Thank
one
you
of the
so
best
much.
ambassadors I've ever met. We want to thank Tagawa's Garden Centers for hosting us out here. We had a fantastic time. Coming up next on Dig In, we are going to have Horticulture 101. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Chef Mick from Tony's Markets. Coming up later, we're going to make the best spare ribs ever and country-style green beans right here on Dig In.
Dig In, gardening, cooking, and more. Get the latest advice, tips, and recipes at digincolorado.com. Dig In, presented by the Scott's Miracle Grow Company.
I love this time of year.
Yeah, until the bugs show up.
Oh, they bite you and they sting you.
Yeah, and they mess up the lawn.
Not this yard and not this summer.
I get out there with Ortho Bug Be Gone Max. It takes care of insects for up to 3 months.
Those nasty little ants, chinch bugs, and ticks. It even kills fleas.
This is our yard, our summer.
Yeah, and we're not about to let the bugs steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ortho Bug Be Gone Max.
Defend what's yours.
Professionals have grown with Dram watering tools for over 65 years. Discover the quality of Dram. Nurture your plants with a shower of rain. Select from 9 water patterns. Care for your lawn with quality that will last a lifetime. Dram, the professional's choice for lawn and garden. At a fine garden center near you.
Dig In with Keith Funk, MJ Engel, and Chef Mick Rosacci. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Get the links at digincolorado.com. Dig In, presented by the Scott's Miracle Grow Company.
The weeding dream again?
What does it mean?
It means tomorrow we're using Ortho Ground Clear. Ground Clear doesn't just get rid of weeds, it gets rid of weeding.
How?
By killing weeds for up to a year. Just use it once to kill the weeds you have and to prevent new ones from growing.
It keeps the ground clear for up to a year? Pinch me, I'm dreaming.
About me,
Huh? Ortho Ground Clear.
defend what's yours.
Dig In gives you advice about the best products for the season. It's time for the product of the week.
Kill over 100 unwanted garden and landscape insects through contact without harming your plants or blooms with Ortho Flower, Fruit, and Vegetable Insect Killer. Apply to outdoor plants as soon as insect problems are noticed. To apply, simply shake the container gently. Hold sprayer 8 to 12 inches from the plant to be treated, then spray the upper and lower leaf surfaces and stems where pests appear. Spray only until surface is wet. For more information on Ortho Flower, Fruit, and Vegetable, go to digincolorado.com.
So if you go to digincolorado.com, we have a complete website that gives you all sorts of great information, but we're also there to answer your questions. We recently got a viewer question that asked us about what all that powdery white stuff was on her lilac. It's actually called powdery mildew. And with the wet spring we've had, we've seen a lot of powdery mildew. Lilacs are not the only plants that are going to get it, but it is easy to treat. What you're going to want to do is go into one of your independent garden centers and you're going to want to look for a systemic fungicide. Systemic means no matter where it touches the plant, it gets absorbed by the plant and circulates throughout the entire plant, giving it weeks of protection to help take care of the powdery mildew issue. Easy to take care of, but you want to make sure you have the right product. So make sure you find something that says systemic fungicide on it to take care of all of your needs. I hope that answers your question. And for all of you that have questions out there, go onto our website at digincolorado.com and give us your questions. And we have some incentive for you. For those of you that go onto our website, one of the lucky viewers will have the chance to win a Dram watering wand. So join us on digincolorado.com.
Students at Explore Elementary devoted 2 days in May to preparing the gardens for a successful fall harvest. Students spent one morning weeding, digging, and spreading new soil with teachers and classmates, and visited the gardens again on a Saturday morning to plant seeds and starter plants with friends and family members. Students at Welby Montessori were thrilled to have the Scotts experts stop by to share their knowledge about seeds, plants, and gardening. The special visit in May was a fun and engaging way to discuss some of the things Montessori students were learning about at that time, including how seeds grow and photosynthesis. Their garden will become more than just a garden. It will be an active and engaging outdoor learning space.
Welcome to Dig In's Horticultural Mystery History. Recently, Rice University cleared Mr. Ben Franklin of being the culprit of bringing in Chinese tallow trees that have contaminated wetlands in the eastern United States. But speaking of contaminating plants, we have our own noxious weed list here in Colorado. Along some of our waterways, you'll see things like Russian olive or tamarix that bloom beautifully pink in the spring. But these plants contaminate and choke out native vegetation. So make sure to go to digincolorado.com with our connection and link to the list of all the noxious weeds here in Colorado. That is your Dig In Mystery History. Coming up next on Dig In, we're going to Denver Botanic Gardens to visit carnivorous plants.
Dig In with Keith Funk, MJ Angle, and Chef Mick Rosacci. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Get the links at digincolorado.com. Dig In, presented by the Scotts Miracle Grow Company.
It's a weeding dream again?
What does it mean?
It means tomorrow we're using Ortho Ground Clear. Ground Clear doesn't just get rid of weeds, it gets rid of weeding.
How?
By killing weeds for up to a year. Just use it once to kill the weeds you have and to prevent new ones from growing.
It keeps the ground clear for up to a year? Pinch me, I'm dreaming.
About me?
Huh? Ortho Ground Clear.
Defend what's yours.
Dig In, gardening, cooking, and more. Get the latest advice, tips, and recipes at digincolorado.com. Dig In, presented by the Scotts Miracle Grow Company.
I love this time of year.
Yeah, until the bugs show up.
Oh, they bite you and they sting you.
Yeah, and they mess up the lawn.
Not this yard and not this summer.
I get out there with Ortho Bug Be Gone Max. It takes care of insects for up to 3 months.
Those nasty little ants, chinch bugs, and ticks. It even kills fleas.
This is our yard, our summer.
Yeah, and we're not about to let the bugs steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ortho Bug Be Gone Max.
Defend what's yours.
Professionals have grown with Dram watering tools for over 65 years. Discover the quality of Dram. Nurture your plants with a shower of rain. Select from 9 water patterns. Care for your lawn with quality that will last a lifetime. Dram, the professional's choice for lawn and garden, at a fine garden center near you.
Today on Dig Info, our inspiration of today's show has been about kids and gardening. So we have a fun few trivial facts for kids to know. Tomatoes, fruit or vegetable? Technically, tomatoes are a fruit. Pumpkins, we showed you the seeds and showed you how easy they are to grow. Did you know the largest pumpkin we've ever seen grown weighed over 1,800 pounds? And speaking of tomatoes, there's thousands of varieties, but they actually originated out of South America. All of these fun gardening facts and more can be found on our website when you link to Scotts, where they have lots of great information and fun facts to share with the family. So make sure to visit us on digincolorado.com. Not all plants that grow outside are nice plants. Some of them are actually carnivorous plants and eat flies. We are going to go to Denver Botanic Gardens and visit some of these carnivorous plants and watch them eat live bugs.
My name's Nick Snakenberg. I'm curator of tropical plants at Denver Botanic Gardens, and today we're going to look at insectivorous plants in our plant collections. Insectivorous plants are really popular with our visitors, especially young kids. They find that gore factor really appealing. So we have basically 4 different mechanisms for insectivory. Insectivorous plants are normally adapted to very poor soils, so they don't get a lot of their nutrition from the soil. They have to absorb some from the insects that they trap. There's 4 different mechanisms. There's sticky traps, snap traps, pitcher or fall traps, and then there's actually suction traps. An example of a sticky trap would be this Drosera, or a sundew. If you look closely at this plant, you can see secretions on the little filaments on the leaves, and an insect will become stuck to that. And when it struggles, it triggers other hairs with the sticky masses on the end to fold around the insect and slowly trap it and digest it, just like flypaper. An example of a suction type plant would be this Utricularia. This actually traps soil insects, so you can't see the insectivorous part of this plant, but there's small bladders along the root masses underground. And when an insect gets close and triggers a hair, it causes a change in water pressure and will actually suck the insect into the bladder that's along the root. Sarracenias are an example of a fall trap or a pitcher trap. An insect will climb up to the edge of these pitchers. Sometimes there's a sweet fragrance or sometimes a foul fragrance that attracts the insects. They crawl along this slippery edge, slide inside, and are unable to climb back out. They're slowly digested in pools of enzymes at the bottoms of these pitchers. Maybe one of the best known insectivorous plants are Venus flytraps. This is an example of a trap insectivory. Along the pads at the end of these leaves are small hairs, and it takes a lot of energy to close this trap, and so it doesn't want to respond to false alarms. So if only one hair is triggered along the pad, it won't close on the insect. It will conserve its energy until it knows for sure that there's something there. So it has to trigger 2 hairs or 1 hair twice in a row, and that will cause the trap to close. I'll try to demonstrate the trap closure on this Venus flytrap by tripping a couple of the hairs. There it goes. And that you can see that the appendages here on the end are forked, so they close together and trap the insect inside where it's slowly digested. Most of the plants we've seen so far are temperate plants. A lot of them you could find growing in the southeast United States, but we also have some tropical insectivorous plants, and we'll go look at those next. In this greenhouse, we have more of the tropical insectivorous plants. Nepenthes is a genus mostly in Borneo and Southeast Asia. Nepenthes grow in a wide range of environments, a wide range of altitudes. So some are very hot, low elevation growing plants, and others grow at the top of mountains at 14,000 feet where it's much colder. The ones in this greenhouse are warm growing. We have Nepenthes bicalcarata, which if you look closely at this one, you'll see it has 2 fangs inside the lid of the pitcher. Nepenthes superbum, a very colorful surface, this ridge surface around the perimeter is called the peristome. It's very slick, and when an insect crawls on that, he slides into the pitcher and gets trapped in enzymes that slowly digest the insect that's trapped inside. They come in all sizes too. There's small, maybe 1 inch diameter pitchers, and then there's larger ones like this Nepenthes truncata. There are reports of some being large enough to digest rats, although I think that's probably a stupid rat. They're not targeting rats, just an unlucky rat that happens into a pitcher large enough to digest small mammals. I mentioned earlier that a lot of the insectivorous plants grow in nutrient-poor soils, so they look for the insects as a supplemental nutrition. 2 recent discoveries in the Nepenthes world that are really interesting is there's a species of bat that's been found to roost inside the pitchers. So when it defecates inside the pitcher, the guano is collected and it lives on the bat guano rather than the insects that it digests. There is also a small shrew that actually uses the pitchers almost like a toilet. They'll just sit right on top of the cup and use it as if they were going to a public restroom. And again, they're getting nutrition from the manure rather than from insects that it digests. A lot of our insectivorous plants aren't continuously on display. The Nepenthes are on display as they come into good pitchering. They're not always bearing these pitchers at their end of the leaves. The fly traps and those things, once they catch a fly, once it closes, it's done for 2 or 3 days. But we do try to rotate those things out on free days so that visitors can have a hands-on experience with those plants. Thanks for joining us at Denver Botanic Gardens today. I hope you'll come by and see all the plants we have to enjoy, especially our carnivorous plant collections.
Hi, this is Chef Mick from Tony's Markets. Here's some tips on making the ultimate spare ribs. First, start with great spare ribs. These are baby back ribs, really good natural pork from Iowa. And I'm going to cut them into individual ribs here. You don't have to. You can cut them in 2 rib segments, single rib segments. I like the single rib segments because I can season them all around. They get all nice and crusted. So then I'm going to line them up into a pan, and I finish them up with this Claude's brisket marinade. This stuff's great. It's got a nice smoky flavor, especially nice if you're using a gas grill. So I pour this on top of there. I cover them with foil. I put them in the oven and roast them for about an hour, hour and a half. You cook them until they're nice and tender as you like. I don't want them falling off the bone. I like them a little bit chewy. They're done here. These could go back in the fridge for a couple of days. When it comes time to cook them, I'm going to sprinkle them with seasoning, put them on the grill and get them all sizzling and finish them with sauce. And you've got the ultimate spare rib. We've got this recipe and all the recipes today at digincolorado.com. Stay right there. In a few minutes, we're going to make country-style green beans.
Dig in, gardening, cooking, and more. Get the latest advice, tips, and recipes at digincolorado.com. Dig In, presented by the Scott's Miracle Grow Company.
I love this time of year.
Yeah, until the bugs show up.
Oh, they bite you and they sting you.
Yeah, and they mess up the lawn.
Not this yard and not this summer.
I get out there with Ortho Bug B Gone Max. It takes care of insects for up to 3 months.
Those nasty little ants, chinch bugs, and ticks. It even kills fleas.
This is our yard, our summer.
Yeah, and we're not about to let the bugs steal it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ortho Bug B Gone Max.
Defend what's yours.
Dig In with Keith Funk, MJ Engel, and Chef Mick Rosacci. Join us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Get the links at digincolorado.com. Dig In, presented by the Scott's Miracle Grow Company.
Professionals have grown with Dram watering tools for over 65 years. Discover the quality of Dram. Nurture your plants with a shower of rain. Select from 9 water patterns. Care for your lawn with quality that will last a lifetime. Dram, the professional's choice for lawn and garden, at a fine garden center near you.
It's a weeding dream again?
What does it mean?
It means tomorrow we're using Ortho Ground Clear. Ground Clear doesn't just get rid of weeds, it gets rid of weeding.
How?
By killing weeds for up to a year. Just use it once to kill the weeds you have and to prevent new ones from growing.
It keeps the ground clear for up to a year? Pinch me, I'm dreaming.
About me?
Huh? Ortho Ground Clear.
Defend what's yours.
Dig In, gardening, cooking, and more. Get the latest advice, tips, and recipes at digincolorado.com. Dig In, presented by the Scott's Miracle Grow Company.
Hi, this is Chef Mick from Tony's Markets. Country-style green beans, the best way you could ever make green beans. Starting out with some onions, sweet onions if you got them. Chop them up here. I try to make them about the same size as the green beans. They're going to go into a pan with some bacon. I've got a nice applewood smoked bacon. We've got some beautiful bacon at Tony's. Look at this. Look how lean that is. Isn't that beautiful? A superior product. Now, I normally would just use a smoked bacon, but we have a maple bacon. If you like maple, that would be fabulous. Extra maple in there, or even a peppered bacon, whatever you really like. Just make sure it's got a good smoky flavor to it. These two go into the pan. We're going to let them saute and brown and soften. And while those saute, we're going to get our green beans ready. We're going to cut them into little pieces, cut the ends off, and get ready to go. This is looking good. It's getting nice and brown in here. I think we're ready to move on. We'll take some garlic, a few cloves of garlic, and just bruise them a little bit, just a little bump. All right, a little bit more. Add them to the pan along with our green beans. couple pounds worth here. And mix that all together. Oh, I can smell the maple and the applewood and the sweetness of the onions. All right, this all goes together. I'm going to use a little stock. I'm using the Glace de Pouillet Gold. Really nice flavor without a lot of salt. You could use chicken stock, vegetable stock, whatever you like. You could just use water if you wanted to. Ham stock you could use if you wanted. So we get just about enough to fill it up there. I might just add a little bit more. We're going to let this simmer. We're going to let this simmer and cook down slow. What's going to happen is it's going to cook the moisture out of there and make a sauce. It's going to be amazing. So this is going to need about 15 minutes. And in the meantime, we're going to work on our ribs. Okay, these ribs have been pre-cooked. I actually did them yesterday. It's nice. You could do it a day in advance, just save you time. Any way I can make a shortcut. Brush them up here, get that so they're nice and moist all over. Then we're going to sprinkle them. I've got my own seasoning rubs. This is our smoky southern barbecue rub. We do a Texas rub. We do a mesquite rub. We do a Kansas City style rub. These get sprinkled all over the rib. You want to coat it on all sides really nice. So this has got all the seasonings, a little bit of smokiness, a little bit of sweetness in here. This is going to glaze on the grill and work out really nice. I'm going to put it on the grill about 5-10 minutes to get it hot and sizzling, and then I'm going to add sauce to it. These will be on the grill for maybe 10 or 15 minutes and they'll be done. All right, this is about done. This cooked for about 20 minutes. I let it simmer for 20 minutes without a lid, and we reduced all the water that was in there. It's reduced away, and now there's just a little bit left at the bottom, kind of like a little bit of a sauce. There's probably a 1/4 cup of the juices left in the bottom, and it's a concentrated stock with the flavor of bacon and onion, and it's beautiful. Let me tell you, we're going to go ahead and put this into a bowl. There we go. Save a little bit for later. All right, so we got that into the bowl. The country style green beans, just a beautiful dish, really easy. Anybody can do this. You can taste it at this point, but usually the salt and everything, the seasoning is usually just about right. Maybe a little pepper I would add to it. And then our back ribs, we cook those slow. We put a little bit of the seasoning rub on here, and then we brown them, and we finish it up with the sauce to glaze. Total cooking time was about 10 or 15 minutes on the grill. We've got it here. Beautiful country style green beans and baby back ribs. Let's dig in. You can get this recipe and all today's recipes at digincolorado.com.
Thanks so much for joining us today on Dig In. I hope you learned as much as we did, and I hope that gives you some ideas to inspire the kids to get them outside and get them gardening. Big thank you to Degawa's Garden Center and Luann for hosting us. Thank you to Denver Botanic Gardens for helping us see all the inspiration behind carnivorous plants. And Chef Mick, the ribs you make are amazing. Thanks for joining us today on Dig In.
Thanks for joining us at the, you want me to wait for that to, well, I'll just try to squeeze it in there.
Coming up, let's see.
So join us here today on, the gardening in the... One of you has the opportunity that will win a dram watering. I cannot say watering. Okay.
So I'm taking the juices from the pan, and I'm going to sprinkle it. I'm going to get my seasoning. Let's come back and do this here, Jim.
Which is invaded. Do-overs.